I'm approaching the final steps and stages in the review process for the Samsung QN85A and QN95A. Before I get to those stages and steps, I want to address something, okay? As a former professional calibrator, I want to kind of let you guys know a few things that's really bugging me. The first thing that's bugging me is during the review process, there are those who feel as though I should update this TV, submit to Samsung's terms of service that were not a thing on my Q8FN or KS8000 before that, and just let them create a new standard of people being compliant with companies deciding that you're going to agree to all their legal reference pages and all that stuff before you can access your television. I'm not okay when Sony does it. I'm not okay with when LG or anyone else does it. It's not a cool thing, and people are just nodding their heads up and down, literally hurling thousands of dollars at these companies and saying it's okay. It's not okay. The way I review these TVs, and I just want to clarify this for those who maybe don't know, I review things in an as-is status. So if I can't just pull the TV out of the box and just watch the TV or use the TV, there's a fundamental problem. Nowhere on the box does it say internet connection required. So this new idea that I now need to update to fix problems that weren't advertised, that shouldn't be there just to get the advertised performance, is complete and total bogus. Now I'm sitting in my room on my camera with ISO set all the way down to 50, so you don't see any kind of blooming or anything like that to show you that black levels can be as inky as you want them to be if you sit in a dark room and you play games with people, like I've said in other videos. I get frustrated for those who maybe don't watch me as much or who aren't cued off to this, because there is a bad habit of a lot of people taking to YouTube, picking up a camera, lying for affiliate links, the little blue links in the bottom of their description. They want commissions from that. I don't do any of that. If I put an affiliate link to anything, it's to something that will actually benefit you that I've vetted personally. And that's so few and far between that it's not even funny. And it really bugs me when I see people tell me that I need to update a TV that, again, has no kind of indication that there's a problem with it needing an update. And when I test it and you see things that you didn't see other places, like John Archer, who did a completely closed door test, nothing in real time, claiming really that it's over 2,000 nits. Everybody read that article and took it as the word of God, and that's it. Nobody can have a different result. Nobody can have a different opinion. Now I am the problem. Now I need to update my TV because that article, John Archer, your God, said that this right here is over 2,000 nits. I don't want to hear stuff like that, okay? I'm not John Archer. I'm not Vincent T.O. I'm not FOMO. I'm not Digital Trends, and I won't play like I am those people. Instead, I am somebody entirely different with an entirely different panel, an entirely different set of skills, and I am going to tell you that these TVs are not going to be what you expect when you're listening to influencers and people who are commercially paid by a corporation or by influencers, marketers. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what they have to say. They have zero credibility because they are doing this for a living. They are collecting a paycheck from the conflict of interest that is the manufacturer, that is Amazon.com. I mean, you can go down the list and say a bunch of different things. And sure, those who believe in these people will never trust a word I say. And frankly, they're disposable. They don't matter. The reason I make this video is for those who maybe don't know this. The person who first time you've ever seen my video and now it's a bunch of negative stuff, but you're hearing contradictory things from either fanboys who are just now getting around to reviewing this TV, or maybe you're just now running into the information in general and it just is disappointing to you and maybe you feel there's an agenda here. I can safely say I love my Samsung Q8FN, my Samsung KS8000. Samsung just isn't living up to that level anymore. And that reality is something we all need to face. We all need to kind of be honest with ourselves and address the problem by talking about the issues, talking about the annual downgrades, because if we don't, next year, 2022, will be another downgrade. And people are going to be scratching their heads wondering what's happening to the status of community products or consumer products continually getting worse. But nobody wants to say anything. And those that do are run off of any Reddit or forum and completely talked about like they're some sort of joke or quack or they're just dramatic, or they milk things for views and for clicks. I mean, I've seen all kinds of, you know, debasing, insulting kind of comments. You guys know what people do when they're upset and they get in their feelings. That whole cancel culture thing we're dealing with now. But the reality is, people need to wake up to the reality that corporations are trying to increase their profits year in and year out. They don't care about your product. And if you're going to just tell them it's great when they know good and damn well they've downgraded it, and you're going to tell them that, they don't have to try any harder than this, they won't. What is the reason that they would have to change something that you personally are telling them isn't broken? You like that clouding, you like that blooming, you like that washed out color compared to what they were doing before. That's jiving with you well. You like that. So they're going to keep giving it to you. My message in this video is a very simple one. Break from the status quo. As a former professional calibrator, I get so disgusted when I see people say things like, you can't calibrate by eye. You can't get beautiful colors by eye. You need to hire a professional calibrator. You need to dial it in professionally. Let me clear the air on that. I'm a professional photographer. I am an entry-level enthusiast colorist. And even with those skills, combined with my professional calibration experience when I was doing it professionally, I can safely say that you can easily calibrate by eye. I've been testing it for several months using the Sony A8G as a reference monitor on multiple televisions, just playing around, and you'd be amazed at what you can accomplish. If you know what 65K looks like, you're able to pretty much do anything you need. If you know what the industry standard looks like for the SMPTE bars, I mean, you really don't have to do anything else outside of know that. I recently created the best settings I've ever seen on my Samsung KS8000 last night, just kind of playing around up until easily 2 in the morning. And that's all done because I push the envelope of creativity. I don't listen to what people tell me. I don't stay in a calibrator's box of turning off sharpness, turning off all picture processing, and putting zero effort into learning how you actually go about making a picture. Let me tell you something about the people running the AV community right now. They are glorified software operators. They have no skill, no experience outside of Calman. And you want to know something? Once you get Calman yourself, you can do everything they're doing. You can easily obtain a reference accurate image quality from 30 years ago. That's not hard to do today. And you can do it for really cheap these days. And it's a damn shame that a lot of people aren't catching on to that fact that we have displays that are far more capable than anything we had 30 years ago, but the reference standard hasn't changed yet. Instead, they rather sell you something new, which is HDR, and slap a premium on it. It's about profit. It's not about what makes sense. And the sooner people wake up and realize that that's how the world works, better everybody will be, I guess. But, there's always going to be a group of people that no matter what, they get in their feelings. They feel like things aren't made a certain way and they want to have their words and everything like that. And I'll say again, I have more than passed my entry-level examinations and tests and requirements to be a colorist, a film grading colorist, to understand how the filmmaker is creating these films. I can tell you about the red in the shadows. I can tell you about the S-curves. I can tell you about so many things that would literally blow your mind. And you can take these concepts and apply them to calibration or adjustments, because let's just address this. To officially calibrate a TV, you have to calibrate to an existing reference standard. So while technically, no, you're not calibrating, you're creating a picture that far surpasses any calibration standard for SDR today. But of course, when you say this in any forum or in any AV community, they lose their minds. Why? Because you're challenging the status quo that makes these top paid commercial influencers what they are. If you know, let me tell you this. If you know that you can just buy Calman, hook up a colorimeter like the X-Rite i1 Display Pro or Pro Plus, and get the same reference accuracy, the same kind of look that they're talking about as being this professional thing, if you could do that, what use are they? They have no unique skills outside of their blogs that make them money and their professional calibration skills, so they claim. Because every single one of these bloggers, if you'll notice, they don't do real-time live calibrations, real-time live tests. Everything's closed door, and by the time you see the results, all the results are just given to you on a spreadsheet. Yeah, this is 1,000 nits. You're just taking their word for it off of that blog. I don't mean to be that guy, but how stupid can you be to trust numbers that you didn't verify yourself, you didn't see happen in real time? That's literally like somebody telling you on a used car the odometer is less than 30,000 miles, and then you get there and it's entirely different and you're surprised. Because the reality is these people can say whatever they want on their blogs, and they can just chalk it up to software differences. They can just chalk it up to panel variance differences. It's the 55-inch. I guess that's why we have less brightness. So when you're reading about things and you're feeling a type of way and getting in your feelings, don't be so quick to weaponize things, because I'm telling you, I'm one of the few extraordinarily experienced people in the AV community that is actually using my abilities and talents to help you literally for free with information that you will not find anywhere else, because this does not pay. Let me say this again. What I am doing is not lucrative, not lucrative at all. Telling the truth, fighting the status quo, butting heads with corporations that would willingly pay an influencer, it's not lucrative at all. But I do it because there's a certain level of transparency that needs to exist in the scientific world and the consumer world. And that transparency isn't there. And it's getting worse as time goes on, and I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to do what I can to at least help those who want the help. So if you've made it through this entire video, I truly commend you, because you're somebody that is looking for the truth. And if you're one of those people, if you haven't already, subscribe, because you're gonna get it here. In my coming videos, I'll be testing input lag, brightness, and we'll be rounding this thing off with a final review. But essentially, don't trust everything that you read on a blog if you can't see it yourself. That's just as real as it gets.